Hello peoples, it's Annoyed Gamer. It's Saturday morning, or Saturday afternoon, or like I say, whenever you watch this thing. Anyway, I am Marcus Beer, and today I am going to do two things. One, a little later on in the show, I'm going to answer some of your questions. Before that though, I'm going to address some of the comments from last week's show. You know, I read the comment section and there was a lot of good stuff in there. There was some stuff that was just daft, but anyway, on with it. First thing I've got to address is I screwed up last week. I said that the Navy Yard shooter used an AR-15, and I got that wrong. That was based on the first press reports, and I should have done my due diligence after the fact. So yeah, and thank you to the 300, 400, maybe 500 people who took time out of their busy schedules to let me know about that fact on the comment section and on Twitter. No, I appreciate it, I do. I got it wrong. There you go. Let's talk about some of those comments. One of the first ones I wanted to talk about was actually from somebody who said that he worked in broadcast news and took issue with my view that broadcast news and mainstream media has an agenda. And he went on to cite, some interesting examples of, how his system works. Because he did make the point, local news is generally better, they don't have an agenda. I want to counter this with my own experiences, because obviously XPR guy, yes, I worked with a lot of media, both broadcast and print and mainstream. I will beg to differ and say that the local Fox affiliate here in particular has an agenda that it pushes over and over. And I speak from bitter experience. And this is no fault of the journalist I was working with at E3 from that outlet, but I spent 2.5 hours with them talking about video game violence, talking about, the majority, how many female gamers there were now and how games are evolved, and talking about the new consoles. And I gave them a lot of relatively valid arguments as to, the video game violence issue and all that sort of stuff. And then when it came to this segment being aired, it was basically almost, and this is Marcus Beer. Hi, games are good. Boof. I was a bit miffed about that, and it's not the first time it's happened, and there is an agenda. I mean, there is an agenda with local news media as there is with mainstream news media. Video games are sexy in that they are evil, and that is the agenda. Over the last 3 or 4 years, I've given numerous interviews. Every time, as soon as I start saying things like video game violence, and real world violence are not connected, it's never been proven, I could see the light go off, the light in the eyes of the person interviewing me, because they know that when it comes to getting this in front of their news director, they don't want to hear that. If it bleeds, it leads. And that is the mantra in local news as well as national news, unfortunately. So, I appreciate you trying to fight the good fight, sir, or madam, but you are in the minority. Obviously, a lot of people did take issue with my whole "it's child abuse" comment, and maybe that was a little bit harsh. Maybe I'd have been better off saying it's a dereliction of parental duty to give their child Grand Theft Auto if their child is 11, 12, 13 years of age. We do talk about sitting down with your son or daughter, talking about the game you're giving them, playing it with them, discussing it afterwards. I had the TV on earlier this week. In the background, something was playing. It turned out to be the Wendy Williams show. Not exactly something I watch, but I can appreciate she appeals to a certain demographic. And she's talking about GTA. And she's talking about her 11-year-old son. And she's talking about giving him GTA. That woman is watched by lots of other people, lots of impressionable people, especially in this day and age. Her coming out and saying that is so ridiculous, and it's also doubly ridiculous because she's on Fox, which, shows this whole separation of Fox Entertainment and Fox News, and how, one pays for the other to be an asshole to the other. It's a vicious circle. Rupert Murdoch is an evil genius, I give him that. But yeah, I mean, for her to come out and say that is actually kind of ridiculous and, morally reprehensible to me, because she's like, yeah, he was up there playing his game upstairs and I was downstairs with my friends. I'm like, that's the problem. Sit and talk. If she'd have realized, there's drug use in the game. There is excessive violence in the game. There's a lot of stuff in there that if you don't talk to the kids about, they're going to get desensitized. You notice I didn't say nudity. I don't have a problem with nudity. I don't have a problem with sex. I think nudity and sex are two very natural things, and I actually think we should be more worried about violence in media and in life. And yeah, so obviously there were a lot of people then commenting about, well, I watched horror movies from the age of 3 and my parents were cool, or it's like, nobody tells me how to parent my child. My child is 8 and I will give him Grand Theft Auto 5 because I can, because it's my right. That's the problem. People thinking it's their God-given right to parent the way they want to parent. or not parent, as a matter of fact. You know, we grow up very quickly in this world. There is a lot of innocence that is lost very, very quickly. I am a big fan of letting a child be a child for the longest possible time. I'm not saying keep your kid a child and wrap it up in cotton wool. I'm not saying raise a man baby who at the age of 21 then discovers there's guns and war and everything and, you know, boobies and all that sort of stuff and then all, you know, is totally maladjusted. I'm talking about talking to your kids. I'm talking about managing what they play, what they see. If I am a parent, I wouldn't let my kid play video games probably for the first 8 to 10 years. I'd have them read and, you know, explore life. So just like you feel you have this God-given right to be the cool parent and give them GTA, I have the God-given right to call you out on it and tell you that I think it's wrong. Because freedom of speech, it swings both ways. Just like you have that right, so do I. I think you're wrong. You won't catch me agreeing with you. Anybody under the age of 13 is way too young to be playing Grand Theft Auto. Okay, time for a couple of quick questions before the end of the show. First one up, this one's from Jake Baldino, and Jake asks, can you see Valve actually marketing Steam machines to non-PC gamers? How could they go about doing that? Advertising, etc. Well, Jake, I don't know who Valve's demographic is for the Steam boxes, to be honest with you. They're going to be about $1,000. Are people going to put them in their living rooms when you can buy a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One for the same price that does a lot of the same things? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to go to the casual user. PC users, I've already got a kick-ass gaming rig and a kick-ass gaming laptop. I just bought the Razer Blade. The Steam box or the Steam OS apparently will work on other machines, which is going to be cool. That might be, you know, that might be their way in. I really don't know what they're going to do, and I don't think Valve does. To be honest with you, I think they might be just running away with things a little bit too much here. All right, next question is from William Pimlott. How excited are you for the Stick of Truth now that it has a release date? I don't have a problem with the release date of Stick of Truth like some people do. I think, you know, that sort of like early December one. It worked for Far Cry 3 last year, which was a fantastic game. Unfortunately, balked the the awards for that game, I think. South Park is going to sell. I'm still concerned. I mean, to be this late in the schedule and to only have seen guided gameplay demos at E3 and pre-E3 is a little worrying. I know Obsidian can create great stories for their games. They do that a lot. I'm just wondering if the actual gameplay is going to have enough variety. But we will see come early December. Okay, and this last one is from Stuttering Craig, who is you know, very familiar to everybody here, but he's chuckling away. He's part of the Screw Attack crew. And he's asking, explain why people who work in the games industry are so miserable and uppity. I've never understood it, and those who were. Well, Craig, I mean, not everybody can be, you know, happy and, you know, fantastic and, you know, just loving life the way the Screw Attack guys do. Look, I'll be honest with you, it's like any other job. I mean, I spent so much time working inside the games industry that I was, for the first 10, 11 years, as a PR guy, I was phenomenally happy. And, you know, there was less of the bullshit. It was more fun stuff. But over the last, you know, 10 years in particular, and the last 4 or 5 of mine in PR, games did get big. Games got very corporate, and with corporate comes a lot of rules. And with a lot of rules comes a lot of new people who have no experience, who aren't necessarily gamers. And they don't really love games. They're in there just because it's cool and funky. And there's this huge influx of that around 2003. Professionally, they're probably great people at executing their jobs, but they don't have that love for games that a lot of people have. I'm here because I love games. And I love games, and then I get pissed off the shit goes south. And when shit goes south, I want to bitch about it, and I want to complain about it, and I want to kick up a fuss so that hopefully something can be done about it. I am looking forward to the day when Annoyed Gamer doesn't have to be here. And I know a lot of you are feeling the same way. That day will be when there is no more bullshit in the games industry. We're getting stuff delivered on a regular basis. It's not buggy, it's not glitchy, there's no bait and switches. There are no you know, price hikes, price gouges for certain games. There's no dodgy marketing techniques or PR techniques. That day will be great, because that's the day I can just say, all right, I'm going back to just talking about wonderful fluffy things. All right, that's the show for this week. Yeah. Hopefully there'll be no more controversy next week, and, you know, I'll do another question and answer session. And you know, like I said, the less of these controversies, the less Annoyed Gamers, and then it'll be Warm and Fuzzy Gamer, and me and Kyle will become the odd couple of video games, and we'll rent a house in Pasadena, and he can be Walter Matthau and I'll be Jack Lemmon, and it's going to be awesome. Follow me on Twitter. See you next week.